Good afternoon and welcome to the September garden tour. I'm Mark, I'm here today with Connie. Welcome to our magical garden. So let's take a tour.
All right, let's take one.
The first thing we should mention is the obvious thing. I don't know if people have noticed from the video, but look at all the damage around our pond. Look at this. You're not supposed to see the pond liner like that. That's quite ugly. That's because we have a leak. Because the pond rebuild was done in 2018.
That's right, yes.
Right, so what's happened, we think, we're not sure, because we're not experts, but we're pretty confident that what's happened is that over time the pond has sunk and the water then can come above the liner. And if it goes below that box there where the pump is, then the pump doesn't pump and feed the waterfall, and that's what's happening. And then we have to keep topping it up with water. So we've had our pond builder come out a couple of times and take a look. But what we're hoping to do, hopefully in the fall, before winter, is have the pond rebuilt a little. Not totally rebuilt, it's just be taking up some of these large edge rocks and pulling the liner back up and putting them back. And also, while they're here, cleaning the pond, because our pond has stones in the bottom, small stones, a little bit like the things you see here. And over time, that holds a lot of fish poop and other muck that needs to be cleaned out a little bit. Not completely, it doesn't have to be pristine and clear, but it'd be good to get some of that muck out.
Right. Many people have their ponds cleaned out once a year in the spring, but we really like the way that the rocks look when they have a little bit of moss on them, so we don't do that. We just let our fish wander around and clean it up for us. There's a lot of bacteria in there. There's a lot of small insects that they eat.
So that's probably the main work that needs to be done in our garden this month. There's a lot more, there's a lot to cut back, but I like to, well, one, I like to do it a little bit at a time so it's not overwhelming. But also I like to try to leave it as late as I can, because even this late in the things can look really pretty.
Right, and here we have pollinator heaven here. We've got an entire row of sedum, and this is a wonderful sedum. I think I've mentioned it a couple of times. It's called T-Rex, and it doesn't flop over like Autumn Joy used to. Autumn Joy was the only one available many, many years ago, but there's so many types of sedums now. And this one is beautiful. It attracts pollinators. And then next to it we have, as I have also talked about in previous videos, we have Nepeta, Montrose white, which is loved by the pollinators. And then this time of year we have our anemone, which has spread quite a bit. And what we've discovered about the anemone is it does not like to be transplanted. And it's supposed to like shade, but it gets almost full sun here and it looks beautiful. And of course, pollinators love it.
It's a beautiful plant.
It really is. It starts to make flowers. The flower heads start to come up, gosh, sometimes in the beginning of August. But they really are looking beautiful now.
And just through here, this is a mess, but we'll show you this mess. Oh, but before we get there, this rose is doing really well.
Zephirine Drouhin.
This is its first year.
It's its first year, and the one thing we love about Zephirine Drouhin is the lack of thorns. Mm-hmm. This rose does not have thorns, does it? Have you ever been stuck by this rose? It might have some, but I think they're very small.
But nothing like most roses. So it's really, really easy to work with, really nice to work with. And the reason it's doing so well is this year I've started watering all of our roses with the clean out from the pond. So all that fish poop is wonderful manure, and I think the roses really love it because all of our roses have done really well this year. And this is looking a little sad. This is
it's very sad.
Our herb garden coming to the end of its life. It's gone kind of wild there, that basil, but and some of it is just dead. So that's always a little sad at the end of the season. So let's continue on. We refreshed our pots, as most people do, with, although in this case, I think all we did was stuck some extra sedum in there. But we refreshed all the rest of our pots with mums, and they're all open and looking really pretty and vibrant right now. It's quite a nice combination.
And I think we really should pull up some of the non-blooming annuals now from this. Leave the grasses, leave the sedums, leave the dusty miller, it's looking pretty, and then put a couple of mums in each of these pots. I think that would be lovely.
One of the things that really pleased me is I thought that we had seen the last of these moss roses because we had a lot of rain, but with all the sunshine we're getting now, these moss roses have made quite a wonderful comeback. Look at that. And this is the second iteration of these pots because we had the dreaded budworm attack the petunias and had to replace them all. So next year we're not going to use petunias at all, right?
No, we're not. We're going to use the New Guinea impatiens. They're also called sun patiens that we have in this pot.
Mm-hmm.
They get very tall by the end of the season. They look beautiful, and they come in many colors. So we're going to try that next year and see how that looks.
And more chrysanthemums here. What a wonderful colour.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
And we refreshed these pots here too with mums. There they are. Some more Nepeta here.
And more bees. I recently gave a tour to someone we met this year who wanted to bring her grandchildren back, and she did. And we tried so hard to convince this little girl that these bees did not want to eat her. They were perfectly happy on this Nepeta. But she was so terrified, she ran past it every time she came past. But they really don't care, and I'm allergic to bees. I know that unless I grab one of them, they will not attempt to sting me.
If you've seen any of our tours before, you'll often hear us talking about people visiting our garden, because as you can see, we're on the corner here. There's our neighbour right across. So being on the corner, our garden is open and people can see into and see the pond. So it just attracts many, many passers-by that end up being visitors. We ask them in and give them a little tour. This is our main perennial bed. It's still got life. It's been a good year for the phlox, right?
It really has been. I don't think we've ever seen the phlox blooming this late. These are the original phlox to our garden. When we moved in, we had 5 different types of old-fashioned phlox. They get very tall, and we dug a lot of them out, but many of them have reseeded and come back. They look so pretty this year. I was going to take some of them out, but I don't think I will. I think next year we'll let them come back up and look like this because they're beautiful.
And you know what I like this time of year? I like the contrast between the blooms that we still have and then the ones that have started to decay. Just the contrast, but that still provides a lovely structure, like these onions down here that have finished. They're still quite beautiful. There's a beauty in that decay and quite a contrast with this sedum. It's getting a little lost there. So we've done our best to tame this bed over the years, but you can see, especially with things like this getting buried, it's still a little unwieldy, a little wild, which I think actually is a really nice thing. Don't want it to be too structured and too tidy.
Well, one of the things that happens if you cram your plants together a bit, the weeds have less opportunity to grow. And we have found that to generally be true, although we have really battled with something called a lantern plant this year. And once those little lanterns, after they ripen and they explode their seeds, they can explode with hundreds of seeds. So we have had a little bit of a battle this year, but we're very good at finding them because we have cleaned this bed up so much. And we have a pathway between our bushes and the perennials in the bed. And that also helps.
Goldenrod is pretty wonderful at this time of year. Wonderful native plant.
Of course, we have the lamb's ears all along the edge, which we really love the way that the soft leaves and also the contrasting color and shape between that, and especially if you look at it next to the goldenrod.
Mm-hmm.
Have to get in here and pull out some of the old iris leaves. And that tree peony has got a lot of dead on it this year, but it will come back next year and be fine. I will not cut anything, really anything off of that except some of the dead leaves, because that grows on old wood. And next year it will be beautiful.
And then here's a little rose garden that we planted this year. All the roses in the front there. Are they knockout roses?
They are knockouts.
Are new this year. And then that's Macy's Pride. But again, if you watch any of our other videos, we've moved that plant, I think 5 times now. I've actually have a video on how to move it, if you want to watch that. And then moving on, this wonderful native plant, Joe Pye weed. We did the Chelsea chop on it, which means cutting it down by approximately half, because if we didn't, it would be double what its size now, which would be as tall as that crabapple tree behind it. But it's quite a wonderful native plant. Nice blooms. They're finished now, but again, they're still nice and structural. There's still a beauty there, even after they're finished blooming. We're big into our Ito peonies. We have them all over. And I mentioned the roses. This is Poseidon, who you can see it's finished here, but you can see its colour. Quite a wonderful colour, wonderful fragrance too. And you can see that there are going to be more blooms on it.
We usually get quite a few blooms in October and even into November if we don't have a frost on Macy's Pride and on Poseidon. It's so beautiful to walk outside and see nothing blooming except our roses.
And then talking about a beautiful structure after they finish blooming, this summer snow clematis. And this is all one season's growth. In this case, this is one plant that's at the bottom of this arbor, and that there is one season's growth. But look at what's left. It's so wispy. Just
yeah, those little flower heads are
really
beautiful when they're done flowering. And I can see that we have to get in and start attacking the creeping Charlie.
Yeah, and you can see there's more goldenrod there, and it's kind of, you'd have to struggle to get down that path.
Right.
We do sometimes try to hold it up, but again, it's nice to let parts of your garden become somewhat wild. And talking of work, we're really struggling with what to do with this area here next to the pond, because part of it, as you can see, most of it is in complete shade, but then the other part of it gets full sun. So you can see the impact of that on these hydrangeas. There it gets sun, and moving down, there it gets no sun. So we're looking at reworking this whole thing. And the shape of it is set by the Garden Railroad, and I'm even considering either modifying or doing away with the Garden Railroad, which is sad, because one of the things I like about the Garden Railroad is, and you'll see later, the way you can landscape to the scale of the buildings and the trains. So I might keep the buildings, but maybe do away with the rail, or just reroute the rail. But that's one of the big things that we're thinking of now. That's our next big change. The last major change we made is in this area that we call our fountain garden, which again, if you've watched any of our videos, you've seen this area. Because this area was just a continuation of that large perennial bed. The perennial bed that we just came from back there, just continued down. We put this whole area in, including the beds and the fountain, a couple of years ago. Just the other day we transplanted and potted up some lamb's ears for our garden club. They're looking a bit droopy. We did this yesterday. It was yesterday, right?
We did do it yesterday. We have to deliver them to the person who's going to plant them in their garden tomorrow.
And there's some more sedum. And this is what I mean about landscaping to the scale of the buildings or the railway. So you can see the fairy house there. So just keeping these trees, like this elm, to the scale of the surrounding structure or railroad, of the railroad tunnel. So that tree is kept to scale, and these trees are kept to the scale of the buildings around them. It's almost like bonsai. It's not bonsai because they stay in the ground and you don't take them out and put them in pots. But that elm, for example, would grow into a full-grown tree if we let it. So it would be, we're not going to totally get rid of our garden railroad, but I so rarely run the trains because you can imagine how difficult it is to keep the tracks clear. I mean, look at that, for example. It looks abandoned. All of the figures get knocked over. Not by our dog either, who you can hear barking right now. They get knocked over by rabbits and squirrels and other critters. So, yeah. So you can understand why I don't run the railroad that often. But it's still a wonderful thing for children to see when they visit our garden. So thanks for joining us on this September garden tour. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.